Foxboro woke up different today. Signals in the locker room, a quiet move on the market, a tactical tweak that changes the conversation, and a performance that shuts critics up. One name is back in circulation, another slips off the call sheet, and a spark ignites a snap battle. What does that say about the plan to protect the rookie, shorten the field, and speed up the defense? Who gains snaps, who loses minutes, and which decision can flip the season now? You won't believe what we've got today. So sit down, drop a like, and let's dive straight into the news. Stay to the end, deep breath. You know when an entire defense seems to be waiting on one piece to return. That's exactly the vibe in Foxboro. The secondary has names, has a scheme, has coaching, but it's missing the guy who changes the conversation snap to snap. Meanwhile, the season doesn't wait, and every drive exposes something we've known for weeks. The margin for error is tiny without a reliable shutdown corner. That's why the debate is boiling in the locker room, on social, and in the stands. Can we hold out another 3 weeks like this without a move, or is it time to act before the math in the AFC starts pushing us back? Christian Gonzalez, our first-round talent and already a league-level star, remains out with a hamstring injury since July 28. His absence became a daily topic and completely changed the rotation. The ideal plan, Gonzalez on one side, the big free agent addition on the other, stays shelved, and the fans' patience leaves with the big plays we're giving up. Rebel knows he has to keep the defense from staying on the field too long, and above all, prevent third downs from turning into daggers. The most recent reports kept Gonzalez out of practice, and the trip to Miami, reinforcing the urgency. Here's the piece that makes perfect sense on paper, but we still haven't seen on the grass. Carlton Davis III. He was signed to form a physical, aggressive duo with Gonzalez, squeezing windows in press and choking off timing routes. The 3-year deal shows how much the front office bought into that idea, but the chemistry we imagined for September is still a sketch, because number 6 is missing to complete the equation. Once that partnership debuts, the coverage picture changes. More man on the boundaries, more freedom to roll safety help, more confidence to get home with 4. In the meantime, the burden falls on the plug-in. Alex Austin has had flashes and knows the playbook, but being the primary target for 2 straight weeks is a different league. Offenses are testing splits, motions, and stacks to force switches and isolate the matchup they want. It's a mental game and razor-thin execution. Late communication becomes a flag. A wrong angle becomes 25 yards. With the ball flying his way so often, every snap is a trial by fire until the CB1 returns. That's why Stephon Gilmore's name is echoing again. Yes, 34, on the open market, picking his spot. He said he'd come back in the right situation, and the New England connection matters, not to reprise the 2019 trophy, to stabilize, teach press technique, simplify the playbook for the young guys, and hold the fort until Gonzalez is ready. Cost, role, and conditioning are real questions, but so is the urgency. An exploratory call, at the very least. If not Gilmore, then another veteran who can cool the edges and reorganize responsibilities inside. And that wasn't even the most surprising part of the day. The win in Miami was more than a number in the standings. It was the first landmark of the Mike Vrabel era, and in the most symbolic way possible, breaking a taboo that had lasted since 2019. Patriots fans know how painful it was to fly to South Florida and come home empty-handed. And this time, right there at Hard Rock Stadium, the team showed identity, discipline, and a hunger to turn the page. Vrabel didn't hide his emotion after the game. He talked about fight, about competitiveness, about not being front runners, but grinding for every inch, even when the scoreboard tilted toward the Dolphins. That message was music to a fan base that got used to recent teams collapsing after halftime. The energy of a coach who knows Foxboro from the inside, who raised trophies as a player and now carries the call sheet, brought a sense of rebirth. It feels like the locker room finally has a leader who understands the culture and demands execution without excuses. On the field, the symbols of that shift were clear. Maye, still a rookie, left the week 1 mistakes and hesitation behind. With confidence, precision, and nerve, he distributed the ball, ran when he had to, and turned drives into points. Ramondre Stevenson not only ran hard, but also became a receiving outlet, breaking tackles and ripping off critical yards. And the collective answered when Miami took the lead in the 3rd quarter, a scene that in past seasons would have spelled collapse. Another detail you can't ignore: winning on the road, in a hostile environment. On the very weak, pressure was maxed after the opener. The ghost of Jerode Mayo's frustrating year still hovered, but Vrabel delivered the first win by week 2, wiping away the narrative that the team would need forever to click. For the players, it's fuel. For the fans, it's hope. For the AFC, a warning: the Patriots won't be anyone's punching bag. But it goes beyond the standings. This win showed the staff can adjust in real time, that the offense can answer when the opponent punches, and that there's room to grow, especially once key defensive pieces return. More than anything, it showed Vrabel didn't come to pass through. He came to rebuild the identity that always defined the New England Patriots, and that wasn't even the most unbelievable part of the weekend. Before the dust from Miami had even settled, a behind-the-scenes jolt hit the locker room: Jalin Polk's early exit. A second-round wideout tagged as a strategic bet for the future, getting dealt this soon. To many fans, it felt like a waste of draft capital. To Mike Vrabel, it was pragmatic. Cut losses now and give the roster room to reset without carrying uncertainty. Polk flashed, worked, but injuries wrecked the calendar. Shoulder surgery, a limited return, then another hit in the preseason. Everything conspired against his consolidation in Foxboro. What stings most is the reminder that the pick used on him came from a trade with the Chargers, who turned the same move into Lad McConkey, a name already gaining traction in Los Angeles. The comparison hurts and fans don't forgive. We spent big and got nothing back. Vrabel's radio comments were blunt. It was a good time for Polk to restart elsewhere. The coach showed respect for the player's grind, but also the necessary cold eye. In the end, the Patriots were going to be without Polk in 2025 anyway because of injury. So why not flip that into some draft value and move on? The return isn't flashy, a 2027 sixth, but at least it keeps future flexibility and shows the front office is willing to correct course quickly. Moves like this also send a message. No one has a guaranteed chair, and the bar is high. For the receivers who stayed, like Kayshawn Boutte and Mac Hollins, the memo is crystal clear. The opportunities are there, but they must be seized. What weighs on everyone is the shrinking list of 2024 class holdovers. Only Drake Maye and Cordick Wallace remain active. For a franchise that needs to rebuild through the draft, that raises questions about talent evaluation and long-term planning. At the same time, some see a silver lining. The freed-up space could pave the way for a wideout who complements Maye better, or the staff could shore up other needs with the flexibility of future picks. The risk is rolling into 2025 thin at receiver, leaning too hard on veteran health and uneven jumps from young players. The fan base is split. Some applaud the quick decision to avoid carrying a non-contributing asset. Others blast the front office for spending big on a player who never took off. Either way, the impact is immediate. The depth chart shifts, Maye's pressure rises, and the need for offensive efficiency grows. The rebuild isn't just on the field, it's in the back office calls too. And while we're still digesting that bombshell, an even more unexpected twist pops up. Drake Maye took the field in Miami with a different look. Anyone who saw the hesitant rookie in the opener barely recognized the same quarterback in his second outing. It was like someone flipped a switch. Pocket confidence, quick reads, firm throws, and when needed, legs that punished the defense. The result? A performance that made even the harshest critics rethink the idea that he wasn't ready to lead a rebuild. On the first 3 drives, Maye put points on the board. He spread the ball efficiently, hit short and intermediate throws without flinching, and took a shot deep when the coverage blinked. He went 19 for 23 for 30 yards, 2 touchdown passes, plus 1 on the ground. Numbers that excite on their own, but more than the stat line, it was the demeanor. He looked like a veteran, not a rookie. The marriage with Josh McDaniels, which drew doubts, also showed encouraging signs. The play calling had variety, quick game to disrupt pressure, well-timed runs to spring Stevenson, and smart use of play action. The coordinator, who knows this fan base and its impatience, seemed to tailor the plan to the rookie's profile. The effect was immediate. The quarterback's confidence climbed, and the team's belief followed. Another hallmark was resilience. When the Dolphins took the lead in the third, the deja vu was real. In other years, that was the start of the collapse. Maye didn't blink. He led answer drives and kept the team alive until Andy Borregels drilled the decisive 53-yarder. That changes the vibe. It's not just about winning a game, it's about proving the offense won't shrink under pressure. Sure, there are still flags to watch. 2 missed extra points almost cost them. The defense without Gonzalez is still hemorrhaging yards and complicating the job, but the win built on the rookie's shoulders opens a new window of optimism. If this is the starting point, imagine when he's got more chemistry, a deeper menu, and more help from the defense. The fans already feel the shift. The debate in bars, on radio, and across social isn't, is Maye the guy anymore? It's how far can he take this team? That narrative swing might be the biggest win of all. Confidence is contagious, inside the building and out. And as we take in this new chapter, one question hangs: are we witnessing the true start of a new era in Foxboro? This win brought important answers, but also opened new questions that only time in the next games will reveal. The Patriots showed clear signs of reconstruction, a defense still searching for balance without Gonzalez, an offense finally showing hints of sync under Maye and McDaniels, and a staff led by Vrabel that isn't afraid of hard calls, like the Polk trade. It's a mix of risks and hopes that will shape the season. The most exciting part is feeling the fan energy come back. It's not just about winning in Miami after years, it's about believing there's a plan, that every roster tweak has purpose, and that the quarterback of the future might be here now, learning to lead under pressure. Week by week, that confidence can grow or be tested to the limit. And that's the magic of the NFL. Nothing is guaranteed, but every snap carries the chance of something historic. Will the defense find its form without Gonzalez? Will Vrabel turn this into a streak? Is Maye already ready to be the face of the franchise? Those answers only come on the field, and we'll be here, living every detail of this new era in Foxboro. So hit that like button, subscribe, and tell me in the comments, do you think this was the first chapter of the Patriots' true turnaround?